This show is brought to you by Skylight Frames. Skylight Frame is more than just a photo frame. It's a magical way to keep loved ones close, no matter the distance. With Skylight, you can share the joy of a special moment, a silly snapshot, or a treasured memory instantly, making it the perfect present for anyone who values connection and family. Now, there's no better way to put a smile on your loved one's face than to share a special photo. Whether it's a glimpse of the kids being silly, a magical moment from a vacation, or a sentimental memory from years past, Skylight Frames brings your favorite memories to life right in your home. For everyone who's tech savvy or not, you could share it with your parents and grandparents because it's a life changing new way to connect with family, especially those who are not keen on smartphones. The simple user friendly design makes it perfect for parents and grandparents. With Skylight, they can enjoy the magic of seeing new photos appear instantly, making it easy to stay connected without the need for any complicated technology. However, if you are tech savvy and you love a little extra in your things, Skylight's Plus software offers advanced features that enhance the experience. There's standout features like Doodles, where you can draw on a picture on your app and it appears directly on the Skylight frames, perfect for adding your personal touch. Or you can also do the feature of greeting cards, where you can choose from hundreds of different designs and send an interactive card that appears on the frame, creating special moments for birthdays, holidays, or just because. It's beloved by millions because with close to 2 million frames sold across 34 countries and over 675 million photos and videos shared, Skylight Frame is a tried and true way to stay connected with family and friends. This holiday season, give the gift that keeps on giving memories, whether it's for grandparents who adore seeing the grandkids' latest antics or a friend who loves capturing every moment. The Skylight Frame is the perfect gift to bring joy and connection into any home. It's easy to use, it's got an effortless setup, and it's instant sharing. There's no app or subscription required, and it takes a quick single minute to set up. It's designed to be easy for all ages. You simply plug in the frame, and you're ready to start sharing memories. It's got an intuitive touchscreen display. It's 10-inch color touchscreen that allows for easy interaction, lets you pinch, crop, and zoom photos directly on the frame. There's a gift mode as well. You can preload your favorite photos before getting the Skylight frame, so when your loved one plugs in their new frame, they'll be welcomed with special memories right off the bat, immediately for ready to enjoy. It's got seamless sharing where you can invite family and friends to join in on the fun. Photos can be shared easily via the free Skylight mobile app or email. Again, no account or subscription is required, making it simple for everyone to contribute. And it's got an offline mode as well, so you can stay connected even without Wi Fi. You can enjoy viewing your existing photos, and then whenever you are connected, new photos can be received in under 60 seconds, keeping your frame up to date with the latest memories. It's better than social media, honestly, because it's a great private way to share photos without posting them to the world or having to go out of your way to print hard copies. It's a top rated brand with over a million happy customers, thousands of 5 stars reviews, and it's available in over 30 countries. You can store thousands of photos. Skylight frames can hold up to 8,000 photos with 8 gigabytes of space. It looks beautiful in your home because the photos are displayed in HD resolution, and you can choose from 5 different frame styles, whether in portrait or landscape mode. And satisfaction is guaranteed because they're confident that you'll love Skylight, and they offer a free 120-day return. For a limited time, get 20% off your purchase of a Skylight frame when you go to ca.skylightframe.com/hockey. That's right. To get 20% off your Skylight frame, just go to ca.skylightframe.com/hockey. That's ca.skylightframe.com/hockey. And welcome to the Blazing Pucks podcast.
Oh, shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Victor Manuel.
And I am your other host, Carmichael Manfredi. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to episode 70 of the Blazing Pucks podcast, Canucks podcast you listen to when your kids are not around. Victor, how you doing, brothers?
I am doing phenomenal, brother. We are in December. It is a trip to believe that we are about to wrap up 2024, but the holidays are coming in and the good times are rolling, bro. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, man, I totally feel that. I feel like I just stopped writing 2023 by accident when I signed shit. Like I just got used to 2024, and now all of a sudden it's going to be coming to an end. It's trippy to think, but yeah, I'm doing good too, man. I got this week off here, so taking care of a bunch of things before I get started at the refinery again. But
Fucking
we got
right.
some interesting Canucks stuff to talk about here, don't we?
Oh, a lot of refinery fucking bullshit to go through with the Canucks. Not bad bullshit though, but refining the team with all the freaking injuries. We are getting 2 core pieces back pretty soon.
That's right.
One tonight.
That's
One
right.
tonight.
Well, I guess it would have been 2 days ago from the time you guys are listening to this. So we do record this like we know on Tuesday night. So going in net, I don't know, but yeah, I'm feeling a big dub for the boys tonight.
I am feeling, you know what? I am on the side of half excited, half nervous. My nerves just being in the sense of another game 1 of the Stanley Cup where Demko has to make an amazing save, and then who knows what that
He's
does.
not backing up from it either, right? Like he's gonna fucking make the save, even if it he busts something.
Fuck no, of course not. Demko's a motherfucking all-star gamer. Like that guy
Yeah.
is gonna always give his all, no matter what the scenario is. But dude, I'm stoked, and I really hope the boys can rally behind him tonight as we record on Tuesday against the St. Louis Blues. But yeah, since last week, dude, let's recap on the games because there's only 2 games we really need to recap on. 3 technically, if you think about it.
Yeah, because we didn't really get too much into the Wild last week. I had it on as we were recording. I had it on. I remember we got the we didn't really get the gist of it, and I know there was a lot of controversy surrounding that game because fucking the officiating was god awful.
Oh, dude, the one hit that was done by Joel Eriksson Ek on Kiefer Sherwood. I mean, if that isn't even worse than the one that Quinn Hughes got called boarding major and got a misconduct for against Josh Norris in the Ottawa game.
No kidding.
That one was a lot more dangerous. Like he literally took a huge swipe and even jumped off his skates and got Kiefer Sherwood in the back.
Yeah.
That shoved his head into the boards. I mean, I was stunned that Kiefer Sherwood was still able to get up.
That's exactly how I felt too. Like, how the hell were you able to? He got up and play resumed. I'm just glad I wasn't watching that live. Like, I wasn't actually watching it because my blood pressure would have been through. I might have passed out, honestly.
Yeah, knowing the fucking hot-headed Italian that you are right now, you'd be freaking going like, what is it? Steam out of your fucking ears, boiled marinara sauce going through your fucking nose. Shit like that.
Dude, I'm knocking everything over in front of me because I'm yelling with my hands,
Garlic paste, garlic cloves coming out as tears, and olive oil.
Yeah, and chicken parm coming out of my ass.
Oh, that's
exactly right. But yeah, man, it's it didn't look, and I understand why a lot of people kind of err on the side of caution when it comes to criticizing officials, and I think obviously Rick Talk has been very diplomatic in everything there. But man, you can't deny that too. There's also that trip on Garland in overtime.
Yeah, which
from Kaprizov, which I couldn't believe they didn't call it, and it was ironic that it was fucking Kelly Sutherland.
Man, when we talk about this shit, I mean, I'm sure if we really sat down and like researched all the times the Canucks have gotten screwed over with officiating, what is it? I know that the shitty officiating is across the league, but I feel like the Canucks are pretty common to getting very blatant ass calls missed, the ones that never go in their favor, and especially when they happen in key critical moments. Because if that was called in that OT, it would have been a different result for us. I think
it would have been huge.
Huge.
And of course, I mean, the Wild could have scored a shorthanded goal in OT. There's always that option, right? Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. They're a fucking sick team. But you're completely correct. I mean, that completely changes the trajectory of the game if you call that. When you should have called that, really, when you think about it, right? And I get it. It's a crucial part of the game and everything. But Kaprizov ended up scoring the OT winner. Like, just to fucking pour salt in the wound, right?
Yep.
And I know Kelly Sutherland has He was a big part of that 2011 final too
I
with
know.
Boston, right? He refed quite a bit of the games in that series. And I'm not going to put my tinfoil hat on here. I'm not ready to say anything conspiracy because I don't want to sound like a Maple Leafs fan. But nobody wants to sound like that. But yeah, it's and then that's the thing too, right? I mean, it's kind of a Joker league when you think about it compared to everywhere else, right? We're kind of known for the bad officiating. But like, what is it that makes bad officiating? Like, that's the question that I have.
You know, the answer that I would have for that question, which is a great question, is inconsistency.
Yeah.
You know, that
You talking inconsistency like in the rule book or just
just inconsistency in the aspect of them going by the rule book and calling the plays, calling the fouls, calling the penalties.
it's a kind of like you know when your team scores early in the power play, you magically never get another power play again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like that kind of thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, in that aspect. Like again, to bring back to, the earlier example of Joel Eriksson with his hit on Kiefer Sherwood going
Yeah,
unnoticed, and a lesser type of a hit that resulted in a misconduct against Hughes in a previous game, not too long before that Minnesota game.
that's right.
Just in general, the consistency among the league when it comes to officiating. If you're going to call one thing and you're going to say it's that, then you best believe anything meeting that standard should be called that same penalty, right?
Especially when it's so like out in the open and blatant like that too.
Mm-hmm. And I
And that's
mean,
the piss off.
yeah, the tripping call that you're talking about with the Kaprizov and the OT, wasn't there a fucking ref right there in eyesight with it?
Kelly
Like
Sutherland
everything.
was right there within
Yeah,
eyesight of it.
that's something. What the fuck, man? Like, if it's there, call it. If unless you're letting all of that shit slide for the Canucks too, or just in general for the opposing team, because I don't want to label this just to purely a Canucks issue.
They missed a
Um,
lot on both. Like that's one thing I will interject and say here. I mean, from what it looked like, they missed a lot on both. But I mean, who did that end up benefiting in the end? It ended up benefiting the Wild, right?
Yeah, and credit to the Canucks though. I think that game that we had against the Wild, given our circumstances, because that was one of the initial games that we were out without Hronek.
That's right.
The Wild are top 3 team in the league right now.
That's right.
They're an amazing 5-on-5 team. They've always been known to be really good with their structure defensively. They got big physical dudes in the back end, and their decor is pretty solid. Their goaltending that they've been getting from Philip Gustafson's great. We still held our own, and we were pretty toe-to-toe with them for the most part.
Yeah.
And like we pushed it to OT, which is all we could really ask for.
Totally, man. And I mean, if you would have told me that, they would have played that way, especially when I went back and watched it, I agree with you, right? They held their own. I thought they looked very competitive. Like they didn't look like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Minnesota was the better team on the ice, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that lackluster kind of performance that we saw earlier in the season where it just looked like nobody gave a fuck,
Yeah. It wasn't even a game where, like, to bring an example of this season, like the New Jersey one, the one where we got spanked by them. Like, you could just tell that the boys did not come to play. The boys did not try to put any effort into having a good fight back against New Jersey's high-powered offense. And I feel like Minnesota, with the way how they've been playing in a similar fashion to New Jersey, if not a little bit better, clearly with their standing and record.
Yeah.
And we were
fast and off the rush.
Fast, off the rush, structured, and they know how to like create chances on a whim. And they got really skilled, quality offensive players to make things happen.
And kudos to John Hines too, man. Like John Hines has got them playing a great system since he started in Minnesota. He's been fantastic. So I want to give a lot of flowers to John Hines there. But yeah, and to kind of bring back from it before, I'm glad we definitely don't want to let the officiating take over the Canucks effort in this game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think they deserved a point? 100%, right? Did they get it? No. But I mean, overall, I can't believe I'm saying I'm happy with the loss, but considering everything going on, I think the boys rallied around everybody.
Yeah, that one is true. And yeah, in the end, the reason why we bring up the officiating is because I'm confident that for that game, the officiating, if it was on point or a lot more fair and consistent on both sides,
yeah,
then there would have been a different result for the Canucks.
Yeah, dude,
I
100%,
think
man.
so.
100%. 100%.
Mhm.
Look, we got a little bit of time here before we do the next ad reads. What do we talk? JT Miller's back skating with the boys.
All right, let's talk about JT Miller, and then after the ad read, we'll get into reflecting on the Columbus and fucking the 2 home games.
Yeah,
But
sounds good.
so we now know that JT Miller is on the ice. He's practicing. I don't think was he part of the full practice
Yep.
today?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
there you go. So he was part of the full practice today. You know, I gotta say, man, they were pretty tight-lipped for any information throughout the time that JT Miller was gone. And beyond that, all they mentioned to us that there was a plan in place for him to come back.
Yeah,
But I actually thought he was going to be out for a little bit further. So to see him be back at practice already this week is a really great sign.
totally. Totally. And I didn't really have an expectation personally myself. One thing that I'm glad about is that you and I both kind of collectively understood that, hey, listen, if this is something that Miller needs to, he needs to work through, then we're going to give him his privacy. We didn't speculate a whole lot. A lot of crazy speculation going on around him. For him to come back this soon, I think shows a lot of mental strength. Hopefully he works through whatever it is that he needs to work through, because, hey, listen, man, the boys rallied. They're firing on all cylinders, and to inject JT Miller and his energy back into this lineup, I think that's going to be huge.
Absolutely. We will say it time and time again. JT Miller has shown to be the engine of the team, the heart and soul. He brings the emotion into the way the Canucks play, and just in general, the talent that he is. The Canucks really have been missing his play driving force on the ice. Like, don't get me wrong, I am so happy to see Patterson step up as the 1C. So happy to see him elevate his game and take on, the responsibility that JT Miller usually is the one doing.
Yeah.
But you can just tell, like, when we do recap into the Tampa and the Columbus game, you could just tell there was a lot of moments that having JT Miller on the ice would have been a nice X factor into the way that we're generating offense.
100%, right? 100%, right? He is that driving force, and the fact that we've been able to, I mean, like Connor Garland's done a half decent job on the power play. Right? Like replacing, obviously you can't replace JT Miller. He's great, but Connor Garland's been a force on there too. He's really solidifying himself as like a, top 6 caliber player. So that's been great to see. So may have been one of the better things to happen for sure. Just because, I mean, now that gave the guys that underdog mentality, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think that underdog mentality is something that the Canucks need to really double down into their philosophy to really get the most out of them.
To thrive. That's how they thrive.
Yeah, that's how they're thriving. I mean, which is a good reason why we're thriving more on the road than we are thriving at home. And, the Miller bring back will bring that energy to it, because I feel like whatever it is that Miller had to go through, and again, I'm sure at some point, whether if it's during the season, whether if it's at the end of the season, or whether it's never, on finding out what it was that Miller needed to step away from to sort out, that Miller's the kind of guy that when he deals with adversity and it really does, get him down, he will find a way to recollect himself and bring it back with a fuck you type energy. I think of the season, where his game was really showing poorly on the ice. He was slow and sluggish on the back checks. You can tell he was getting very visibly frustrated when things weren't going his way. The Colin Delia moment that he had back then, that of course the Canucks media ate up. And when he accepted that he was playing poor in those times, that was happening near the end of our season. We didn't make the playoffs. What is it? The next year he comes back. He's actually able to be a fucking two-way center for the first time. And what we thought was going to be never.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what earned him a spot here.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Right, and that contract that he got. So I agree.
Yeah. And it really did fix a lot of what we were going through have to deal with on our center, given that we had given up Bo Horvat and stuff. But it freaking worked out. You know what else works out, though? The 2024-25 NHL season when it comes to DraftKings, getting into our next sponsors here, because that 24-25 NHL season still has that new car smell, and the action is truly heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up, because new customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bets win when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved. Boom.
Great job, my friend. Great job, my friend. And I am going to talk about our friends over at Game Time. Guys, what is the greatest thing about the NHL season being live and up and running? It's the fact that you get to go to the arena, you get to feel the chill of the ice, and you get to see someone get their face beaten in by Phil Hronek when he comes back into the lineup. Well, look no further than our friends at Game Time for all of your ticketing needs, which has to do with concerts and shows, not just sports. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets, because who the fuck wants to do that? We got the Boston Bruins coming in town this Sunday, guys. I mean, I think that's a pretty Saturday. Pardon me here. Saturday the 14th, Boston Bruins. You got the hot picks, $47. Go pick them up. Go support the boys. A bunch of other Game Time stuff here. So we got the picks, which you know about, the all-in pricing. Toggle list features show up total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. This is my favorite one here, guys, the seat views. So you get a panoramic view of your seat from the app before you buy, so you know exactly what you're going to be seeing on the ice view. Lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Fucking Game Time.
Fucking Game Time. Right on. Now back into the show here. Now that we're done our ad reads, let's recap our 2 home games that we had since our last episode recorded. 69. Nice.
That's right. Nice.
So
indeed. Nice indeed. Let's go. Let's start with the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, because the 2 games for listeners, of course, Columbus Blue Jackets, Tampa Bay, Friday, Saturday, during the whole Swiftie bullshit. And I'm sorry if you're a Taylor Swift fan in any way, shape, or form, or your daughters are. Good on you for being a good dad, but holy fuck, was that city pandemonium. No thanks. I'm okay.
I'm just so glad I didn't have to go anywhere near Vancouver.
Yeah, same here. Same here, dude. Big time. I seen the videos on Reddit, and holy fuck, that SkyTrain ride looked deathly. A claustrophobic nightmare. But speaking of nightmare, that first period against the Columbus Blue Jackets, that was a nightmare.
That was a nightmare, dude. And I mean, one thing I want to say about that first period is that pass from Cole Sillinger to Matthew Olivier was fucking nasty, though.
Yeah, I mean,
that was a sick pass.
Yeah, Columbus is not a bad team. You know, they've really upped their game offensively this year, and I think they're just missing the defensive pieces. And thank the Lord that the big thing that's boosted their defense is Zach Werenski staying healthy so far and playing at his best, because he is a game-changing defenseman. But yeah, dude, we were getting outshot heavily. We looked like we had no desire to really be at a hockey game. And I'm so grateful in the end that they were able to come back, because if we were to start our home stretch with a loss like that to the Columbus Blue Jackets, given with how our home season, our home record has been so far, do you not know how apeshit the fan base and media would have gone?
I know, dude.
Like, literally, it's
yeah, especially because that would have been the first game back at home too, not to mention.
Yeah, without a doubt. And in that, thankfully around the second period, the boys rallied up. They were able to get 2 goals in the second period.
Exactly.
Who was it? That got in the goals? I'm gonna pull up what our box score was just so I can remember. I feel like so much happens. What is it? Besser's 400 career point game that night, which was great.
That's right. That's
Hugh
huge.
Scooter scoring twice in the third period.
Sherwood getting another one. DeBrusque getting his 12th.
Yeah, we honestly, the boys collectively got together, and the other thing too, Kevin Lankinen pulled it in together and made some pretty spectacular saves throughout the second and third, because we're not a team that likes to shoot a lot.
Apparently not.
Right? We're well, I feel like we're taking Rick Tocchet kind of saw what worked against Nashville in the first round of playoffs. And he's like, "Fuck it, yeah, we'll get more of that. We'll get more of that for the wins." Which, hey,
if Rick Tocchet, is that you?
I gotta work on that impression. Could it work? Oh yeah, Huggies. He's good. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try. Fuck off. But as I was saying though, I feel like it's good that we're finding ways to win without shooting much.
Yes.
But how do you feel about the fact that we don't shoot much, even in games against teams like Columbus and them?
Well, I mean, you said it yourself, right? Like the Blue Jackets, they're not an easy dub like they used to be. To be honest with you, right? Like they're still you can beat them if you're most teams are better than them, right? The Canucks are a better team on paper, but you can't just go and put it in autopilot with these guys. Right. No. We learned that in the first period. That's exactly what happened. The Blue Jackets are well coached too. Like Dean Evison is a fantastic head coach. He has them playing with purpose. They got another, rocket in the chamber with everything that happened with Johnny Gaudreau, which is what who they're playing for. Right. Yeah. So it's not necessarily the easiest win. That's one thing I want to point out. But yeah, we beat Nashville having basically no shots on net. I don't like the fact that we don't have shots on net. Because, as we saw, when you have a goalie like Saros, more times than not, he's going to make that save.
Yep.
Right. And this is with Miller in the lineup. Now, I'm going to get concerned if we're into, February and we're still having the same problem. Then I'm going to get concerned. But for the time being, I mean, there's still how I view the Canucks right now is get the wins by any means necessary. At this point in time, I don't give a fuck how you do it. Just get the wins.
Yeah.
Right. So that's mainly how I feel. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, ideally, I'm on the same page in the sense that I'm not going to, if we're winning and if it's working in our favor, I have no reason to complain. But ideally for me, I feel like just the way the players that we have, at least in our top six is definitely a type of structure that I feel would benefit more from volume shooting or being able to shoot more. But I know that the Canucks, from what we're seeing of Rick Tocchet's philosophy, structure and the fundamentals are important. The board battles, protecting the guts of the ice, keeping structured and with the way they cycle and rotate. And it's more about creating opportunities off the rush or creating opportunities off the forecheck, off of making them make mistakes through the structure, right? And when you play like that, that formula isn't always going to result in getting constant opportunities, constant shots, one after another, right?
That's right.
Especially if either you're playing a team that matches your strength defensively or structure wise, or you know, you're against a team that really knows how to hem you in your own zone, which means that you'll find fewer opportunities to push on their zone. So, yeah, I would be concerned if maybe I'm not even going to get concerned if it's a time frame. Like, say, if we're doing this in February, still having low shots, but we're winning and we get a winning, we're still on a good winning record with a good streak. I won't get concerned because then, hey, it means Talkett's doing something that's working, and he's the fucking coach, not me.
Exactly.
But I am obviously would prefer to see more shots, more of a push the offense type team than not. And I will get concerned the minute we get on a pretty heavy losing streak where we're getting outshot consistently.
Totally. And that's kind of the hole that we don't want the boys to fall in. So that's where I understand where you're coming from, right? Like that, this didn't lead to anything really great in the playoffs.
No.
Right. And quite frankly, this is also why they bolstered their forward group. And they took haircuts for what they spent on the defensemen, but they, bolstered up the forward. So it'd be interesting to have the full lineup. And obviously Dakota Joshua is somebody who really, really thrives in a system like Talkett's. So having him, with each game, like it seems like he's getting closer and closer. He's starting to set up chances now instead of just coast.
100%.
So that's great to see. But yeah, overall, I do agree with where you're coming from. I do want to make sure that we're able to get into our final game here, though. So I'm just going to quickly segue over to the Lightning game.
Yes.
Sherwood scored again. I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, you know what, dude? Sherwood and Lankinen, I have to say, not only for the Canucks, but I have to say they are probably one of the top 5 best free agent acquisitions of any NHL team. Because holy fuck, Sherwood is an engine. He's got a shot.
Yeah.
He's creating chances. Also, fucking A1 to Tyler Myers having wicked
Buddy, that pass.
Yeah.
That pass, like he pinched in from the blue line there, made that pass right, like found Sherwood right in the slot, and Sherwood made no mistake. Like, holy fuck, man, let's go.
I didn't even know if it was prior to the second goal where he assisted Sherwood or afterwards, but he also made 2 really sound defensive plays that, like, the one where he backchecked like a motherfucker and stopped the breakaway pass in Kucherov.
That was incredible.
Which, I thought that was not even Myers at first, and then
that's playoff Tyler Myers, though, right there.
It is.
That's what we get in the playoffs with Tyler Myers. I just want to remind the fan base about that.
Yeah, he has his chaotic giraffe moments. We know this. During regular season, he's going to have his ups and downs. Playoff Myers is nutty Myers, and he's dope when he's nutty.
Yeah, you kill to have him on your team.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like in the playoffs, you kill to have him on your team. I don't care who you are.
But evidently, we lost that game.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just like the problem that I have with it is the goals were not even 2 minutes apart.
Yeah.
Right. That's the problem that I have with it is they were not even like you did that and fucking broke it down. And then not to mention the Braden Point goal was a power play goal. And just like the way that they lost to like that Gensel goal. And I don't disagree with what the refs had done. Like that was a good goal, I thought.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that Juleson was just doing what Juleson should have done, which is obviously try to get anyone away from the net. But just unfortunate mistiming that it does hit the glove. It's about to go in the net, but then because of Juleson coming in, he pushes it back to Gensel's chest, and then it goes in the net.
That's right. So all of a sudden, he didn't play it with something other than his stick.
Exactly.
And that's just unfortunate, right? So you think about that too, right? Like you think about the Wild game, and then you think about this Lightning game. Like those are 2 games they could have won.
For sure. I think
they had them in the bag, I think.
Well, the Canucks came out really strong in the first period against Tampa Bay. I
They
thought
really
that they
did.
showed up really well. It was the second period collapse that really fucked with them. Like you mentioned, they got 2 goals on us in a span of within 2 minutes. And yeah, I mean, Tampa's passing play between their top players and just how they play with each other,
Nasty.
it's still fucking yeah, magic. Like it's still beautiful. Braden Point is such an entertaining center that doesn't get that much love,
He
but
really
he
doesn't.
does. And yeah, Rick Tocchet, I don't know if you saw or heard of the comments that Rick Tocchet made after, but he didn't straight up say it, but knowing Rick Tocchet and how he implies things, he basically mentioned that Tampa's top guys showed up. And that
Yeah.
was a difference maker in the game. And did we see our top guys show up against Tampa? Unfortunately
Nope.
not, right?
But
DeBrus,
look at the points, right? Hughes from Suter,
yeah.
Sherwood from Myers, and Ratu.
Yep, exactly. Where's the Brusque and PD and Besser in the mix?
Yep.
Which is unfortunate. I do think that those three can still get going and gel well together for
Yep.
the time being until Miller comes back, and then it's gonna be pretty obvious that we're putting Besser back with Miller.
Yeah.
I
100%.
I genuinely even think too that they'll probably experiment putting Suter back onto Miller and Besser's wing,
Yeah.
and
I
that they would
completely agree
probably
with
put
that.
Bluger as the third C between Garland and Joshua, and then Ratu would take the 4C spot.
I agree. I also see Sherwood going back with Pedersen and DeBrusque too.
Yeah, which that line was working
Fucking
great.
unbelievable. Like that line would be so you have that 1-2 punch in the lineup all of a sudden now. I
Yeah.
think that's also another thing that might have happened, right? Like you think about it, like DeBrusque has been fucking putting on a clinic right now. Like he's been
Mhm.
putting on the team on his back when it comes to scoring. PD
And
also has been great, and that was the one game that they dried up, and unfortunately, it wasn't good enough.
yeah, and you know what? It's a game that we would have enjoyed seeing them be able to step up to the plate. Clearly, they were getting shut down. I don't know which lineup they were against mainly for that game, but Tampa was, whoever was getting lined up with them on Tampa side, they were able to shut down that lineup pretty effectively.
I'm pretty sure they were dealing with Sorelli.
Yeah, and
And
fucking
Sorelli,
Sorelli,
dude,
yeah.
Sorelli, he made Team Canada for a fucking reason, man. The guy is a
Mhm.
fantastic shutdown center.
He is. He's a great shutdown center, has his moments where he can chip in offensively. But the thing that makes Sorelli great and stand out, especially this year, is that he's willing to do, whatever it takes. He's a grinder. He'll get in the board battles. He's good defensively. And he knows how to make smart passes and like has a good stick with poking as well. From what
Oh,
I've
dude, 100%. Like you hit it right on the nail when you said that he's a grinder. Like this guy is a winger's dream to play with because he does all the hard shit.
yeah,
All the
literally.
hard shit. Like Sorelli does all the hard shit and then he passes the puck off to you.
Yeah,
That's the kind
exactly.
of player that he is, right? So for the most part, it looks like that's who they were lined up with in that game. So, at the end of the day, you gotta, you think of playoff hockey, you have to figure out ways around these players. Like you
Mhm.
can't avoid these guys, right? We can say, yeah, they shut him down, that's great. But
Mhm.
if you're an X factor type player, you need to find a way to get your advantage over situations like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's what makes good players from great and great players from superstars is their adaptability through each matchup, regardless of who they face against.
Exactly.
It's like,
Sasha
okay,
Barkov is the perfect example of that.
yeah, straight up, straight up. Because even if Barkov is not putting himself up on the scoreboard with points and stuff, he's doing everything in the middle of the ice correctly.
Yeah,
He's doing his defensive game correctly. He's making smart passes and generating plays. He's good on holding and, clogging up that neutral zone down in the middle. It's something that I feel like, again, Pedersen's not 100%. I don't fully see him at his 100% game yet.
not yet.
We know DeBrusque is streaky. And Besser, again, the man's coming back from a concussion. Hopefully, he either finds a little bit of his game tonight with PD and they can get some magic going against St. Louis. Or once he's back with his, Miller, then that clicks. Right.
Exactly.
But Yeah, our top guys, it was one of those games where their top guys was better than ours, and Lankinen could only do so much.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like we can't just keep depending on Lankinen, and
No.
that shows. So we'll see how Demko fares. So Demko fares tonight, but I completely agree with you.
Oh man, honestly though, just in general, it's so nice to just see Demko, to at least wrap up everything here. To see Demko finally make it back, you know,
Exactly.
the hardship that guy must have faced. Can you imagine being told that like the fucking type of injury you have is a very rare injury that you may not ever be able to fully recover from and you got to play through? And you know, with Demko has been pretty used to being the guy where we've relied on him a lot, especially in the
Exactly.
years where we've been really shitty.
Yep.
And he's bailed us out. He's won game for us. Um, he's someone that not only the team really looks up to and like depends on, but even this entire fucking city
Yeah.
really depends on seeing how the team is with Demko compared to without. All the love for Lankinen for what he's done so far this season. But I'm really ready to see Demko, knock on wood, pray. I'm ready to see Demko be able to go out there and give it his best. And I pray and hope that that motherfucker can stay healthy for the rest of the season.
Exactly. No, I have the exact same thoughts too, man. Because the team play exactly like you said. Team plays different in front of Demko. I don't care what anybody says. Demko is their guy,
Yeah, he's been
right?
their guy from the get go.
He's been their guy from the get go, and Demko's going to be horned up to be in the between the pipes. The boys are going to be horned up to have him between the pipes. Overall, the boys got a lace and pipe.
Yeah, straight up, like from one professional pipe layer here telling them, lace some
I hate
motherfucking
that you
pipe.
can fucking say that.
Yeah, does it piss your Italian jeans off that?
Yeah, it totally does.
Goddamn fucking Chilean plumber. Goddamn spick plumber. You get
You're
off
worth.
my industry.
Oh man, well, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, great way
Great.
to wrap up the episode here, guys. So, once again, thank you for tuning in to episode 7 of the Blazing Pucks podcast. If you like the podcast, hit the subscribe button, hit on the auto downloads, let your boys know. That's how we know we love you, that you love us. Part of my English here. Victor, take me away from this embarrassment. What can they do if they really like the podcast?
Fuck you. You say I like magenta, so you eat that embarrassment, okay? But no. But to take it away from there, if you really like the podcast, you really like the show, please go on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to us. Give us your 5-star rating. We would really appreciate that. Share this episode with a friend and help us expand that we can reach more Canuck fandom ears to join in with your 2 favorite BC buds every Thursday, shooting the shit, talking about the team that we love and we cry over for, the team that stresses us out and makes us happy all at once, and calm in Blazing Pucks fashion.
Much love.
And go fuck yourself.